Good everyone. I hope you guys have an amazing day. So today I won't be talking anything about PSS. Instead, I'll be talking about some of the current trend in the Salesforce ecosystem, which I have been observing for the past 6 to 7 months now. So whatever I'm going to say, I'm going to speak from a New Zealand market perspective because I live in New Zealand. But that being said, I have seen similar trends in different regions as well. Like for instance, in Australia, in United States, in UK, in Sweden. So whatever I'm going to say, it might sync with some of these countries, but my main objective is to talk about from a New Zealand perspective. And what I really wanted to say, and what I really want you guys to take away from this episode is to know whether you should be really getting into Salesforce ecosystem or it shouldn't be, right? Because I'm going to give you a very honest and blunt opinion because I have a reputation in the market of being blunt, right? I just don't like to be around the bush. That being said, let's get started. Now, you might have heard about a lot of news, right? For the past 5 to 6 months, the Salesforce laying off uh, s- uh, you know so many amount of like 400 people, 300 people, like in this case. This is a July 16, 2024. It's the last month article, which talks about 300 workers being Salesforce layoff hit 300 workers, which is an unfortunate truth. And not only the Salesforce as a company itself, I've also seen partners um, have to lay off a few people, and especially if you look at the New Zealand ecosystem, right? The market has been slowed down a bit. That's because New Zealand government, especially around public sector, has tightened up a lot of things, right? What that means is that the government has requested, like our, the current government, which is coalition government, if you know anything about New Zealand. Um, so it's comprised of three parties. So I'm not going to get into politics aspect of it, but just I'll use the term government, right, so that it makes it simpler. Um, so what the government said, right, that I think when they came into power, they said, look, our economy is not maintained in a very proper way. We need to find money, right? We need to cut unwanted spending, right? So what they did, they went to different government agencies like Ministry of Health. Uh, I'm just taking Ministry of Health example because I was associated with the Ministry of Health in the past, but and different government agencies, right, like police and defense and whatnot, right? I just don't want to get into the details, but just you understand what I'm trying to say. So the government made the government said, look, we need to find cost saving, right? We need to cut unwanted saving. And so what that means is that there will be a lot of restructuring, and what that also means that there are a lot of work that has been in pipeline has been shut down. And as a matter of fact, a lot of Salesforce work has been impacted, and it's not a tiny impact, it's a huge impact, because some of the projects which were in the pipeline, which was more or less like, hey, I wanted to, do this stuff. Let's do in Salesforce. Okay, government said we got funding. Now that's all it's been slashed. So now government is very laser focused on delivering the right outcome for the people, which is, in my opinion, which is a great thing, right? Because I'm a New Zealand citizen, right? I will support our government, right? That is a natural thing for me to do as a citizen of this country, to help government and work together in collaboration with the government to achieve the right outcome, right, for the wider New Zealanders. Unfortunately, that means some people will lose out, which is an unfortunate and a sad reality. But that's the nature of business and the nature of the world we live in, right? So now, like I said, Salesforce, a lot of roles has been impacted, and so as a matter of fact, a lot of people are now finding job. So New Zealand is a small country, right? We got a small ecosystem here. Everyone pretty much knows everyone, right? In my case, I people know me by my name. I don't really go to any conferences also. They may or may not know me by my face, right? But that being said, I'm quite visible in Salesforce ecosystem because I am associated with a Salesforce ecosystem, and I'm a Salesforce architect. I do architecture. So, but that being said, right, I've seen a lot of trends like where people who wanted to get into the Salesforce ecosystem are really struggling very hard to get into the ecosystem because nobody wants to hire them. The reason I will tell you, right? I mean, because we human beings have a tendency to get very emotional when things doesn't go on our way, which is okay, right? We all tend to react, but the nature of reality is businesses are not comfortable bringing someone with no experience to let them work on their mission critical application or have access to the mission critical data. It all boils down to that, and they do not want to train its staff, right? They want somebody with years experience to come in, start working from the day one and start delivering the result. They don't have the leverage to train somebody because they have to show to the government, especially I'm talking from a government agencies, that they are cutting the cost and they're hiring the right people. So that's unfortunately, which means that if you are new to the Salesforce ecosystem, it will be a bumpy ride for some time, right? So I'm going to tell you some bad news first, and I'm going to get into the good side, right? Because obviously there is a good side. Now, uh, I don't know if you remember during the COVID time, the market was booming, right? The reason it was booming, everyone was getting an opportunity because our country was closed off to the outside world. What that means is that we are not finding any people from overseas. So the government agencies or for the private sector or or big four or whatever, right? They have to rely on internal resource to train internal resource to come and work for them and deliver the result, right? Which also means people who were getting into the Salesforce platform, could easily find a job, right? Now, I have seen experienced people who are contractors, they've been struggling for weeks and weeks and they're still not getting an opportunity because it all comes down to money, right? They don't want to pay. Now, it was not the case though a few years ago, right? When the COVID was here, we were having a big, there was a lot of work going on associated with the COVID. So a lot of people actually made a lot of money, if I put in a very blunt way. And at the same time, a lot of people got opportunity to get into the Salesforce ecosystem. So the illusion was created that Salesforce is the platform to be in. Everyone who got nothing to do with the Salesforce will start applying for the Salesforce role. I wanted to be a Salesforce guy. I wanted to be a Salesforce lady. I wanted to be a Salesforce XYZ, right? I wanted to be the architect. I wanted to be a developer. I wanted to be a consultant, right? People who never heard about the Salesforce before they were applying into the ecosystem. Now that has been changed, right? Now people are not getting roles. Like I heard from one of my mates, I just don't want to name any company because as a matter of respect, I will not name him or the company associated with, right? Because it's a trust issue and I cannot break it. So just an example, let's say my maiden name is, I'm going to make a, made up name. Let's say my maiden name is Paul, right? Paul works for, let's say, Platinum Technology. I never heard about this company, so it's just a made up name, right? So my apologies if by any chance if this name resembles your company. That's not my intention. Let's say Platinum Silicon Robotic Technology. So I invented something, right? And let's say Platinum uh, Robotic Technology, they wanted to hire, let's say, a Salesforce consultant, say a senior consultant, right? And before, let's say in 2022, they were getting like if they advertise, they will get like for a role 5 to 6 applicants, or maybe 8. Now they're getting 70 to 80 applicants, and that too in a country like New Zealand. Think about that. And so, and that the problem, the biggest challenge is that out of, you might assume, right? Oh, yeah, 70 applicants, right? Yes, you can filter out 20, 30, which were nothing to do with the Salesforce. So let's say it still boils down to 30 applicants. And out of 30 applicants, 20 are experienced people. So now you see it's like a Hunger Game kind of scenario that's been created in the market. And that's why, when I look at our job market, Salesforce especially, because it's impacting every market, right? You are in the ServiceNow industry, it's the same. You're in Azure, it's the same. You're in AWS, it's the same. You're in the Google Cloud architect, it's the same. You're in the .NET space, you're in the Java space. It's pretty much it's the same, right? There are lots of pressure that's building up. Like people are looking for an opportunity, but at the same time, I would say this: uh, some companies are still advertising. So people who are experienced Salesforce consultant, they have still are able to find a job, but they may not be able to find the amount they were getting before, right? So that's one thing you need to pay attention to, because it was different during the COVID time, right? We were not bringing any people from overseas, so the companies have to pay what a developer or an architect used to ask in the past, right? Say if the architect said, "Look, I need 400k," I'm just making this up, right? You don't get 400k easily in New Zealand. We are not United States. I know you might say Facebook pay 500,000 or 800,000 or even million, but this is not United States, right? If you wanted to get make that much money, you need to go and work in the financial sector. A developer making 400k is an exception in New Zealand. So let's say we talk about exception, right? An architect says, "I want 400k," and in the COVID time, and he's an extremely talented guy, and they were not able to find anybody, so he says, "Sweet, we're gonna pay 400k." Now that architect now, let's say, decides to go and work elsewhere in 2024 and say, "Look, I want 400k." Company will say, "I'm afraid that's way too much. We cannot afford it. We can perhaps pay you 200k, half the price. If you want, you're most welcome. Otherwise, there's a guy who applied. He's happy with 170k." Now you see the difference, right? So this is, and the architects will get really disappointed and say, "Hey, look, I shouldn't be getting into Salesforce ecosystem. It's crap." It's nothing to do with that, right? It's the market. That's what is dictating the salaries of the people. Now, the good news is, right, I've seen people who couldn't find a job, they started their own ventures. So that's a great news, right? So let's talk about some great things. And I will also tell you some of the pathways you can follow if you are new to the ecosystem, what you should be doing and kind of stuff, right? Because obviously I wanted to give you an advice. I have lots of years experience in Salesforce and other tech stacks. So I don't want you to think that this is a waste of time video, right? So I just want to give you the right advice. So good news, like I said, people like some of the companies, like I said, is still hiring, and some of the people who were not able to secure any role, they were. I've seen a couple of the people have started their own um, business, so which is really good. So that's a great opportunity because perhaps you might look into the entrepreneurial side of things, right? And you might say, "Hey, I don't have experience." I said, "That's perfectly fine. I mean, you don't even have experience in Salesforce, right? But you still wanted to give it a try. So why don't you give it a try on the entrepreneur side of things, right? Everything looks hard when you're starting out for the first time, right? It's the same with entrepreneurship. Um, so one thing there, right? And Other thing is that, right, there are more companies that started to look for permanent roles. So if you're somebody who are after permanent role, that's a great opportunity because obviously, contractors are expensive, right? And some people do not like contracting for whatever reason, right? They want to feel more secure in terms of the job security. Though I would acknowledge there is no such thing called job security in 2024, but let's say if you believe in that illusion, so if you want to talk along that line of illusion, so um, yeah, you can go for a permanent role. Maybe you might have to take. So it boils down to one single question you should be asking: what is it you wanted to achieve in your life, right? Are you interested to gain experience, or you wanted to sit at home and waiting for the right opportunity? If you ask me, I will take a pay cut and still work and waiting for the right opportunity, right? Because you are getting a new experience, right? And you're getting an opportunity to add value, even if you're taking less money. That's perfectly fine, right? Because at the end of the day, right, we have to think about from a value-driven economy. So if you are able to contribute to a business or to a country, I would rather suggest that you should go and contribute, even though you have to take a bit of a pay cut. And eventually, the company might recognize your value and they will uplift your pay or whatever, right? Or you can change later, right? Rather than sitting and doing nothing. So that's my opinion. That's the way I look at it. Or you can work on something like build a product and see if that's what you're interested. That's fantastic. So it all boils down to your priorities and what you wanted to do with your life. That's um and now you must be thinking, right? Okay, why is that Salesforce is still not able to cut through the market, even though it's the most loved CRM system in the world, right? Why is that government agencies decides to pause Salesforce project? Okay, government says that we need to find cost cutting, but isn't it the Salesforce the most loved CRM system in the world? Shouldn't the government be thinking from a value perspective? Why are they being stingy? The problem is Salesforce is not cheap. It's very expensive. Right? There are other CRM products out there which is way cheaper than Salesforce. And then implementation is not cheaper. You need to hire a big trusted you need to hire implementation partner, right? And the implementation partners may or may not be cheaper, right? They some of them charges way higher, and just because they've been charged that astronomical price in the past doesn't mean that government will be doing the same, right? So what happens in that case? So let's say XYZ company being charging say $400 an hour for a resource. I'm just making this up, right? Just don't quote me on it. Like I said, it's all making made up figure. If they're charging $400 for an hour, and if the government agency is willing to pay that, so obviously that XYZ company will be paying high salary to the person who's employed them, right? Because they have to make out from somewhere. They have to extract that $400 from somewhere, right? If so if so now what's happening is, right, there are other implementation partner will say, look, I will charge $250. Yeah. So when that happens, obviously the government agency will say, look, why we need to go with XYZ firm? We can go to another firm who got great resource and they're charging $250. So now you see what happens. Now XYZ business, they lost a client. And when they lost a client, they can't keep the resource, right? Because obviously when you're working for a consulting firm or yeah, then you have to be billable. If you're not billable, then obviously there is more likelihood you will lose your job because you're not making money and the consulting firm will not afford to pay you, right? So, and that's one of the reason why layoffs get initiated, because one step got cancelled and it has a repercussion throughout the stuff. Now, does that mean to say that um, we shouldn't be learning Salesforce? Is that what you're saying? Because given the fact Salesforce is laying off its own people, and the job market is very tough. That's not what I'm saying, right? I still believe Salesforce is a great ecosystem. So if you're someone starting out for the first time, right, just think about this one. Don't think about from how much money you can make, right? You can start from anywhere. If you get an opportunity to do nonprofit, please get associated with a nonprofit. Now, what that will do, right? You will get a lot of experience implementing a nonprofit project. And that is an experience, right? Let's say if you are doing 6 to 7 months nonprofit work, so that 6 to 7 month will be counted as your work experience implementing nonprofit. And Salesforce has nonprofit products, right? So that's an opportunity, first of all, to get associated with the nonprofit organization, making a huge impact. Second, it will give you an opportunity to learn something new and get work experience and interact with a lot of people, network with the right people. Opportunity to go to user conferences, opportunity to maybe go to a podcast to showcase your experience. It opens up lots of possibilities, right? I mean, you just need to think about from that aspect. I know some people will say, look, I'm not making money, so why should I bother? So, my question to you is, right, how is it sitting at home and doing nothing going to achieve anything compared to being engaged in the community, helping out a nonprofit sector and interacting with the people, getting to implement cool stuff, getting to have a coffee or beer with the people who work with, yes, you won't get paid, but you get all the other stuff, right? And at the same time, you can look for other opportunity, right? Rather than uh, you know, not doing anything, because when you associate with a nonprofit, you will get hands-on experience with certain things, right? And nonprofit in Salesforce is a pretty great space to be in. I mean, there are a lot of businesses, a lot of nonprofits are looking for experienced nonprofit consultants. So see my point here. Pay attention to what I'm going to say. They're looking for experienced nonprofit consultants. And how are you going to gain experience if you're going to sit at home and refusing a nonprofit work, right? So if you're going to engage in the nonprofit work, there's more likely, you're going to gain experience, right? And that experience, you can take it to a new nonprofit and work through it, because experience always matters. That's why businesses are willing to hire an experienced consultant, because experienced professionals knows the pitfalls, right? They know beforehand what happens if something goes wrong, right? And the mitigation steps required you know uh, to fix it. So that's why most of the businesses are now very comfortable hiring someone with no experience. So to me, experience is experience, right? It doesn't matter a paid experience or a non-profit experience. It all comes under experience. So that's the mindset I would expect you to change, right? Most of the people say, look, I don't want a non-profit experience. I want to get a paid experience, means where you get paid. And look, I have nothing against with that, right? Obviously, we need to pay your bills. Sorry, you need to pay your bills, and you need to find a way to pay your bills. So obviously, getting paid is the one way, right? So, but that being said, if you're not getting paid for whatever reason, but if you still have an opportunity to contribute, so I still think that is valuable, in my opinion, right? So this is the advice I will give to somebody who wants to get into the Salesforce ecosystem. And please remember that it's a huge ecosystem. It's a great ecosystem to be there. This is just a temporary dip, right? It happens in every time. 2008 or 2009, if you guys remember, we had a worst recession, right? But people survived and thrived, and even a lot of cutting edge stuff came out of it. Like your WhatsApp is one of the greatest invention from that. So similarly, right, every recession brings the greatest opportunity for somebody, and I would expect that you be that somebody who takes that opportunity and show to the world, look, this is what we can do, right? So don't worry about the layoffs, right? Layoffs is just an opportunity for you to get involved in something which you normally don't get involved, right? That's the way I look at it. Um, and yeah, and like I said, right, what I gave, so the things which I said is mostly with respect to New Zealand market, right? Australia is pretty much the same. We have a next door neighbor, right? It's just a few hours plane drive from New Zealand. Sorry, plane journey from New Zealand. Um, I don't know why I say drive, because I took 40 flying course, right? 45 flying course. I can fly four-seaters. I can fly five-seaters, right? I can do solo now, which is pretty cool. One day I hope to own my own plane, but the problem is, where do I park it, right? So that's all we say, the first world problems. But anyways, sorry, I digress. Um, so I hope I don't know what more to talk about this, right? Because I know that layoff is a very picky topic. People get very emotional about it, and I don't blame them. Sorry, my apologies. You must be thinking this guy is sitting on the same screen. So let me go through this page, anyways, right? So continuous layoff trend. So this is a small article, right? So I just took this article to keep it as a placeholder. Um, so and for experienced consultants, right? It's a great opportunity, right? You can get into a lot of things right now. Salesforce has branched out to different things. Marketing Cloud is one thing. If you're interested, I would say it's a pretty good stuff to learn. But just don't go learn Marketing Cloud alone without knowing Salesforce. It's not going to be much useful, in my opinion. Omni Studio is a very great product. I have used Omni Studio in the past in the sense like year and a half ago. Um, And there are a lot of things you can learn. Public sector solution, that's one thing you should learn. I would highly encourage, if you are somebody who's associated with government agencies, PSS is one thing I would highly encourage. And if you are associated with health sector, then even then I would say PSS is a great product um, to to be get involved, right? And the key advice, what I would say, right, if you're somebody new to Salesforce ecosystem, it's always useful to attend user conference, do super badges. Super badges are very important, right? Always put your learning hat and work out at routine, right? Do trail every single day, right? And maybe create a YouTube channel if you like. I like my channel, right? I started because I was bored and I wanted to talk about Conga Composer. That's the reason why I started my channel. But look, because of that, now I'm getting an opportunity to talk to you guys, right? Which is fantastic in my opinion. That, and I could, and and I think it's a great opportunity for me to help people. That's why I do a lot of my stuff free. Um, so which is good. So yeah, that's pretty much I wanted to talk. I think I've ranted for a long time, but look, guys, I think that, even if you're looking for a job, all I would say, right, the one thing that'll help you succeed in life is your attitude, right? Just don't give up and network with the right people. It's very important to have your LinkedIn profile, a right LinkedIn profile, right CV, right, and showcase your experience. Be visible in the community. Go and talk in a conference if you can. And I know some people are introvert. I'm an extremely introvert, right? But when it comes to professional life, I'm extremely extrovert, right? Because I don't negotiate on that. And talk to different people. Maybe find a mentor, right? To say, look, and people are very happy to help if you ask them a question, right? If someone comes to me and say, look, I got a question, when I have time, I often try to help, right? Because it will not cost you a dime to help somebody, but at the same time, your help can make someone's lives better, right? So think about it from a value proposition, rather than getting what you get gonna get out of it, right? And things should not be always about transaction in life. Though it should be about giving somebody an opportunity, and that person will reciprocate that to somebody else, right? So that's how we create a great ecosystem. So that being said, hope you guys have an amazing Friday. Adios.